Aussie athlete.
Hey, I wanted to show you today what my home kitchen looks like in terms of tools that I use. On a raw vegan diet, kitchen tools get pretty simple. A lot of the year I'm out on the road in Southeast Asia, for example, where I don't use any tools other than for example, a knife, maybe a chopping board, and a bowl, maybe about this size. And it can be as simple as that. But at home, I have the luxury of having a bunch of other tools. So firstly, the Vitamix would be the most used tool. I have two Vitamixes, one of them with two jugs, so comes in handy to have extra tools. This one's great for just blending up smoothies, blending up sauces for, say, vegetable or fruit-based sauces for dinner meals to flavour zucchini noodles, for example, or something like that. I have a commercial juicer here. Basically, yeah, just chop the oranges in half, juices them. This catches the pulp. It's super easy to just then tip out the juice into wherever you want to go. Have another juicer here, which is not commercial and doesn't last very long. This one actually just recently broke. I don't know if I'll bother buying another cheap juicer, but it's nice to have two of these and just juice both with both hands at the same time. But I'm getting to like this commercial one. I have a food processor, which, you know, I don't use the food processor a lot, but it does come in really handy for processing lots of vegetables and some of the harder fruits like apples. So this is currently got the shredding blade there, which is great for putting peeled zucchini. I don't get much organic fruit, vegetables around here, so I tend to peel zucchini, put it in there, and that'll just fill up with little strings of zucchini that you can then just make some sauce in the Vitamix and pour all over it and just have a nice, delicious meal pretty quickly made. The food processor also has an S-blade attachment, which is great for breaking down things into a rice consistency. So a classic for that is cauliflower, which I don't use very often. In fact, I can't remember the last time I bought cauliflower. Yeah, I've had cauliflower at raw vegan events at the fruit festivals around the world and other places at retreats where I've had meals prepared for me. But it's not a high thing on my list to buy cauliflower. I find it just a bit harder to digest. So we've got slicing blades and a few other shredding kind of blades for the like a grating blade for the food processor. I have a smaller bowl and a big bowl. This one's more for mixing things, like say I want to maybe put some baby spinach leaves in here and make some sauce in the Vitamix, maybe tomato mango sauce, and then mix it through and then put it in the dehydrator just to wilt the spinach a little bit for a couple of hours. I would use this to mix that. This is the bowl I would usually eat out of because it's generally holds a quantity of food that I'm happy with for a meal. You want a big knife and a small knife. That'll cover all your chopping needs in the kitchen. You want your knives to be sharp, so sharpen them regularly. This peeler comes in really handy. You can peel in both directions, so you can peel up things like zucchini and cucumber really fast. And then I've got a couple of chopping boards that are flexible chopping boards. So when you pick them up, you can curve them and then just scoop the waste, the refuse from the fruit scraps, and just put them straight into the compost. So I'd normally have this compost bin in the kitchen, another very imperative tool in a raw kitchen, because you create a lot of compost, which is great for the garden. So I'll just scoop that up and pour it straight into the compost. And then rinse everything. So you want to be near a tap always as well, because you want to rinse everything straight away, because once the food starts drying on it, it's less convenient to clean. If you clean them straight away, you can just get everything off pretty much with water and maybe a bit of a rub with your hand. So, oh yeah, one other thing. This single gear juicer I've had since before I was raw vegan, so I've had this for about 13 years, I'd say, 12, 13 years. When I was vegan, just like eating cooked food still. And this, I don't remember the last time I used this. My son currently uses it to make banana ice cream. He just freezes bananas in the freezer, and then put them through there, and it comes out delicious banana ice cream, 100% banana. But I prefer to just make a banana smoothie or eat the bananas. The only time I freeze bananas and would make banana ice cream would be if the bananas got out of control. Say I had 2 or 3 boxes here and I just couldn't eat them in time and they're going to start to ferment. Then I'll peel them up and freeze them in, put them in bags in the freezer, and then use that. But I haven't had that problem. I don't seem to have a problem getting through bananas. I can eat a lot of bananas. Once I eat 70 in a day, so bananas is not a problem to get through. So that's the juicer. I never use it to juice vegetables. I'm not against juicing vegetables, but it's just not. I just find it inconvenient. Takes up a lot of extra time, and unless I'm making some fancy dish for somebody, I wouldn't bother making something like celery juice just to make something, maybe a soup, make a soup saltier, for example. So that's it. The raw kitchen. And another tool in the kitchen is the dehydrator. I have the 9-tray Excalibur dehydrator, which I've always found to be amazing. I once had the fan part die. The motor for the fan died, and they sent me a free part. The company I bought it from sent me a free part, which was it was an Excalibur distributor. They sent me a free part to replace it, and I replaced it myself. It was super easy, and never had any problem with it ever since. And it's a great tool to have in the kitchen, just if you want to partially dry things, to take out some of the water, so the minerals left behind are a bit slightly more concentrated, and just still juicy, still fresh, but just has around the edges of it, just has that little bit of extra flavour, which is a nice kind of treat sometimes.
Like, subscribe, visit, add, and follow Raw Aussie Athlete.